Well, hello everybody. It's been a good day. It's been a great day. In fact, I've had lots of phone calls and messages from a lot of people who are dead set against COVID-19. A lot of people in that anti-COVID-19 vaccination didn't like not having the data, didn't like so many things. And I'll tell you how many phone calls I got from people who just days ago would never dream of taking the shot are going in and taking the shot. I've had phone calls about that. I am pleased with that. What little impact I've had, I feel good about that. I feel good that there are heartfelt Albertans that will put aside everything, even at their own risk without the data, to save lives, to reduce the strain on the system to come, to save Alberta some money. And that's what we're really talking about here. I am extremely pleased about that. I'm happy about that impact. I'm glad to have reached as many as I've reached. And for all the others, it's okay, just move on, because this party would truly never really be for you. And I don't think constitutionalism would be either. I went through this in independence. People always talk at everything, all rights, and they seem to be so libertarian until they don't get their way. And that's the defining moment. That's the line in the sand, that if you can't accept things as they are and accept the fact that you're not going to win everything you always want, this is definitely not for you. And neither is politics. That's a reality. And neither would be constitutionalism. I went through it in independence, just working on policy. No other political party ever, regardless if people laugh about how we did in the election, the reality was policy development. Hundreds of Albertans through policy development. We lost membership because I have never been afraid to lose people or following, because it's not about me. It's definitely not about popularity. It's about doing the right thing and feeling good about that. People still want to fight. People, and people talk about intelligence too. I've had people loyal to me, not the greatest education, but great street smarts, really perceptive, very smart individuals, but they don't have that university education, or they don't have that stature in business. And the same people of better stature or higher education can't even look at things as they are, can't even distinguish a field they know nothing about, which, I mean, I too am not no expert, but I do know the difference between ICU, emergency, and extended care beds. People amaze me, but it doesn't surprise me. But it does surprise me when you learn so many things about people when faced with real numbers, real reality. They will go on to the bitter end that, no, I can't admit I was wrong, or I was on the wrong side of things, or that, I now see the data and the reality in front of me. I must make a choice for my fellow man. And in Alberta, that is what's on the table right now. All things aside, your fears, your everything else, are you still of that selfish persuasion that faced with everything, that you're still going to say, F it, and I don't care, expense as much money as I want to see expensed, or expense as many lives as I wish to burn down, because this right is ultimate for me, and I don't care how many people die? That's when you know there's something wrong with that kind of human being. And I mean, it's no surprise the way Canada is designed in our crown colonial system. I call it the institutionalized Canadian. But at the end of the day, when reality and facts are right in front of you, that can't be dismissed, and you can circle it, you can try every narrative, but again and again, it just doesn't come around your way. It's the other way. I see it clearly. The numbers are there. The reality's there. And I just have to tell the truth. And it is so important because I was born and raised in Alberta, as my father before me, his father before him, and his father before him, until the father of immigration at the time before Alberta was even a province. And, I'm proud of what I've done here. Again, I don't care about following or friends. I don't want to put forward a party with any kind of radicalism. It cost me with the Alberta Independence Party, and this is maybe some of the lacking management skills in relating to how people are or what they're like, and to know that these are red flags. I mean, I learn like everybody else, but I definitely have to listen to more people closer to me, because I've always had this problem in life. It's why you end up divorced. It's why you have all kinds of other problems in your life. Nobody's perfect. We all have flaws. And that obviously is one of mine, but we're going to get this party built. We're going to regroup, and we're going to go through it, and we're going to let those who don't want to be a part of this, they really don't, because our narrative's never going to be that of any fabrication or any lies ever to any Canadians ever. We go with the numbers, with the real facts, wherever those facts take us. And we teach, and we change, and we grow. And the reality is the Alberta experiment sends shockwaves across not only Canada, but it will be across the world. And people will look at that. Jason Kenney has already done his about face. He knew about it for many weeks. Many weeks. But because of populism and having to be right and being divine, he couldn't do the right thing. He wanted it to go and work out another way. We all did. But it was him in that position with the facts in front of his face, and he continued with no rhyme or reason. And you're all exploding now. Is that your fault? No. But these days, as I present this data, and all of those close to me who say they're closer, but they quick because it doesn't fit your narrative. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know the truth. You will never, ever succeed in any of your narratives politically if you can't accept truths and be willing to change when it's right in front of your face, especially on lives. There's a lot of people embarrassing themselves today and yesterday and on. And the longer we do this, the worse it is for you in the long run. It really is. Because at the end of the day, ICU has exploded in Alberta. I mean, large margin and capacity across Canada. They have grown and bolstered this massive expense to healthcare in the name of COVID. And they've been patient with it, and the numbers weren't big enough to justify things. We didn't have the data. They took abuse on it. But the reality now today, the Alberta experiment, July 1st to August 26th, is clear now and in front of us. And we were all wrong. Is it all your fault? No. I was there too. I didn't have enough data, so I can't just go blindly forward. But now we do. And we have vaccine data. Now we do. And we know the cheapest way out of this. We know the best path forward for those over the age of 60 and those who are susceptible to COVID-19. You make your choice. Your choice is your choice. But why does everybody have to pay for it? Which is another look at this healthcare system. See, in the States, this isn't an issue. Well, for the poor it is. But in the States, if you choose not to get a vaccine, you get sick, that bed you got to pay for. You got to pay for at a whopping cost, massive expense. And that's where people measure in the States. How much am I going to pay out of pocket? See, the difference here when we talk about don't threaten, harm, or expense somebody else's rights. We all contribute, not evenly, of course. The third class working citizen absolutely pays for the healthcare system. All of us. And not at equal rates, but it comes absolutely from the third class working citizens. Majority of your healthcare money, although this COVID, it's all been borrowed to grow, meaning there's no net contribution of taxes to pay for anything we've done or anything we're doing to go forward. It's all borrowed, which is against that third class taxpayer in a large margin. Which means major taxes coming, and we can keep on this and say it's okay, I don't care how much it costs. Well, sure, if you're anti-vaccination, you don't care because the expense is being shared with all other contributors, working class. And a mass majority of them have gotten vaccinated and don't want to pay for the extra extended use of ICU. It's the most expensive bed in Canada. Anywhere in the world, ICU is the most expensive. Most tech, most staff, most conditions, it costs a bucket load. And people are going to tell me, oh, that's okay. You pay for it. What do you mean I got to pay for you? I wouldn't do that to anybody, let alone take away a bed from a child. And knowing what we know now, that's what's coming down to. Alberta's 1 point off of triage. Jason's already begged Justin Trudeau to help. I don't know the status of that. People are saying, oh no, Alberta's reduced emergency and care beds. That's not ICU, guys. You can walk into emergency all the time. Oh, I got a stomach ache. Oh, I broke my leg. Are you going to die from a broken leg? Not for many days. Not for many days. Depending on the break, what kind. This is what people don't seem to get or want to look at. They don't care that a major stat is squaring us right in the face in my home province of Alberta. An unbelievable stat. Unbelievable. 3 months ago, those beds weren't at those rates. Since July 1st to August 26th, those stats are in. Those beds are all consumed by COVID now. And a massive more percentage, which the province added for COVID anyway. And then they add another 70 on top of that, and it's not enough. It's not enough for all the other reasons you could end up in ICU. And now we face potential here, ASAP potential, that at any given day, they're going to start picking who's going to live and die. They're going to say, doctors, enter military triage protocol. If a patient comes, shot up or motorcycle accident or child drowned in a pool, if the time elapsed by the time they transport to get to your ICU and the doctor looks at the ambulance report, it's been 9 minutes, the chances of this child surviving or being revived, goodbye, next, we'll take another one. Or he's shot 3 times, oh, once here he needs a surgery. Oh, it's a 17% chance. Now, normally, they would all be treated. Normally, they would all be treated, regardless of the percentage. That's what normal ICU does. They give her their honest go for everybody equally. That's our system. But now we face the fact that, well, we're going to have to pick and choose. And they've already, technically speaking, for cancer and other things, where any stages of cancer, you could be in an ICU situation. They've already delayed thousands of surgeries. A lot of these people will move from stage 1 or 2 to stage 3 or 4, meaning it's a death sentence at that time. But right now it's not, and hopefully it doesn't go there, but it's already too late, everybody. You see, it's already too late. Those stats will come post the 3 or 4 month delays, whatever it takes, because ICU capacity, we don't even know if that's going to change. Now, lockdowns, restrictions again, which cost a whole pile of money, expense the economy, masking, all of it. That's what they're doing again to try and curb, but it's too late for the next little while. It's too late. And people I see still laughing, at which I laughed at, why are you still here? We don't want people who can't look at reality as it is, because you're no good for the party. You're no good for the political party. You're not. You won't. You will cause us to bleed mainstream. I don't want to be in an election like a PPC Maxime Bernier, who lies to everybody and who can only get those susceptible to lies, those who just want to believe, a small minority of the population, which never yields nothing real. You can't even get any kind of real majority in any riding whatsoever. Even the Green Party can get majorities in ridings, can win the hearts and minds of a minority group or a majority group in any specific region. That's what we're talking about here. The everyday Joe Jane is not down with what's happening in Alberta. That's the average Joe Jane. The majority is not down with what's going on in Alberta. The majority of Albertans are not down with what's going on in Alberta. And I guess a test of that's going to be Jason Kenney's next election. That's a fact. That's my video. That's Friday. Monday I'll start my focus back, as now I'm delayed. We'll update all of you on UNSC this week, Ireland, and the Elder Council Ireland. I haven't even disclosed that yet because of the critical state of my home province of Alberta and the critical state of Saskatchewan. I've shared a lot with a lot of people, and you can be mad and pissy and angry and no, it's a lie. But what I've shared with you and how the Crown works, I promise you, there are not going to be major wins in court and overturnings and rulings and da-da-da. There's going to be a lot of lawyers getting rich, sure. But the Supreme Court and all superior courts of every province are tied to that Crown Lieutenant Governor or Governor General, which is tied to the Prime Minister of Canada, who won the election, increased their margins while Conservatives bled out. PPC, sure you grew, but show me one riding where you had a chance of even closely winning any kind of majority. There isn't, not one. No matter where you go in Canada, the majority of those in any given riding, you're just too radical. And Maxime Bernier is a bullshitter. The platform's full of lies, full of bullshit that's never going to materialize. But there's that percentage of the population who just loves to be lied to. There's a percentage of the extreme left who loves to hear from Jagmeet Singh how he's going to tax the rich. He can promise Star Trek and they'll believe it. You all know this, but then when it's on your foot, when it's a bullshit provided, you just, oh yeah, we can do all this. Who cares of the cost? And then you're going to tell me about socialism. You're going to tell me about socialism. Guy who's fought commies, real fights with the commies for many decades. The real extreme socialist, Edmonton, Alberta. Home of Marxist-Leninist Party, the Communist Party of Canada. Home of even NDP's base. That registered party out of Edmonton. It's where they do. That's how Jagmeet got in. Oh, I've dealt with it. And it makes me laugh that when the shoe's on the other foot, are you sure you're all conservative? You sure about that? Because I'm a physical conservative, and when the numbers show the astronomical costs of something that only bolsters a service sector, while we see a massive primary sector reduction, 2 and 2 is not 3, it's 4, guys. Just as it is for the loony left, is the same as it is now for the loony right. There's no justification. You have a choice to make. No, there's not a whole lot of data for 17 to 55. You got to wing it. There's a mass amount of data for those over 60. Is it a risk? Well, sure. But the destruction of lockdowns, masks, and all the rest of it, the surgeries, the ICU, The massive cost, never mind the human rights atrocities, so that some people who are scared to take a vaccine or won't take a vaccine or for other reasons they just hate government. I don't know. Because it's not a conservative thing. Because I am very conservative. I'm physically conservative. Always been. I've been a Ralph Kleiner my whole life, and I'm telling you, the numbers, the cost, never mind the human rights, which are another atrocity in itself, the expense of life that doesn't seem to bother people, which shows the selfishness too. If you're an Albertan right now, and there's no rhyme or reason for you to not go get that vaccine to try and put an end to this bullshit, I don't know what to tell you. Alberta's in such a bad, bad way. Thousands and thousands affected over the course of these last couple weeks alone. It's more than that, but Jason Kenney kept it all secret. We can look at the data and see it was escalating quickly, and there was no reason to wait as long as he did, except for hoping it was going to turn around. Gambling with lives, Albertans' lives, withholding critical information from the entire province. And usually, like I said, if I was in provincial politics, I would have probably been all over this and caught it early September, but that's not my focus. I got a whole country to focus on in federal. But it hurts nonetheless when it's my own province after everything that's happened to Alberta over these last 10 years as it's escalated in all kinds of areas, all kinds. But this is a real doozy and a real terrible way to go into world statistics from my home province. A real terrible way. So much waste and pain and suffering because somebody didn't want to release the data, and still half that party is going with bullshit data, bullshit statistical analysis, getting terms wrong, not understanding key